The next mobility series we're going to do is the Shinbox Series. There's a couple different variations of this and we're going to build up towards that, so stay with me, but do whatever progression and regression is necessary for you. So in order to start, we're going to start with our feet out in front of us like this, hands behind us, right? And whatever position feels most comfortable for you. The further back that I lean, the easier this is to move my hips through a full range of motion. As my hips become more mobile, I can walk my sternum towards my thighs to make it a little bit more difficult. So from this position, what we're looking to do is I'm going to drop one knee down at a time, trying to bring my knee towards the instep of the opposite foot, exhaling as I drop that knee down. So to start, we're just doing single leg, and I'm actively keeping my opposite knee pressed straight up towards the sky, not allowing it to open up. So as I drop this left knee down, I'm actively keeping my right knee pointed towards the ceiling and not allowing this to happen. So my right knee stays straight up, left knee drops down, exhale through that. After a few reps of that, what we're going to do is I'm going to drop my knees down to the side, right? And again, we're trying to get this instep, have the knee drop down into the instep. Both knees come back up, and again, we drop down to the side. So my feet never move, it's just my knees moving side to side, my hands staying planted on the ground, exhaling as we drop down. The next version of this would be to take my hands off. So as my knees start to drop down, I start to bring my hands off the mat. Hands go back down onto the mat, come across, hands come off, back onto the mat, come across. Once we feel comfortable from that position, as my knees drop down and my hands come off, we're gonna look to rotate our belly button and thoracic spine in line with the femur of our downside leg. All right, so as we rotate, I wanna make sure the sternum, belly button, in line with the femur. Hands are gonna come out in front of us, and from this position, I wanna keep really good tall posture, and I wanna drop my elbows down, trying to see how low I should go, not how low I can, and coming back up. So if you look from the side profile, as I go to drop down, I keep nice tall posture, and right here is about the limitation of how far I should be going. But if I keep poor posture and I round my back, I can go significantly lower. So don't cheat yourself, keep good posture as you drop the forearms down, exhaling through that, coming back up. So we can stay on the one side and do a few reps here, or we can alternate to the other side and work back and forth. Whatever you feel comfortable with. But again, the more advanced that we get, the further that hands can start to reach out and drop down from this position. The next variation to progress through is called a wrist hook. So again, when I rotate through my right hand, if my right knee is the side we're coming towards, my right hand is going to post out to the side, and I'm going to bend that elbow. What I'm looking to do with this left arm is I'm going to keep it locked out, and we're going to try to come across the thigh and grab onto my wrist. So we're going to hook onto the wrist from this position. So again, I'm trying to get some nice thoracic spine rotation as we work through. And if I feel comfortable with this rotation here, then what I'm going to do is lock that elbow out, bend that right elbow, so left elbow locked out, right elbow bent. I'm going to drop my left shoulder towards my knees. So I'm going to drop down to this position here. As I look behind me in this window that I've created right here, and we're just going to work through here, exhaling with the difficulty. The third progression of it is I'm going to post my hand a little bit closer to my glute on this one, all right? And we're gonna start to bridge up from this position. But something we need to pay attention to is this back leg, as I'm going to point my toes so that my top of the foot is on the mat or the ground, all right? So again, when we're here, hand gets posted by the glute, all right? A little bit closer, point my right top of the foot onto the ground. So from here, we're just gonna drive our hips up and just checking to see how we feel with that. So again, I want everything pointed towards the wall in front of me. So shoulders, sternum, stay square, hips stay square. Try not to bend this way. Everything stays square in front of us. If I feel pretty comfortable with that position and there's no restrictions, we add on to it. So I lift the hips up, then I'm gonna start to lift the ribs up, ribs come down, hips come down. So hips up, ribs up, exhaling through all of that. Right? The third progression of this would be to go hips up, ribs up, then I'm going to reach this hand, hand comes back, ribs come down, hips come down. Again, take it for whatever version you need to do the most. Most of the time my hips are pretty tight, so I'll spend time just being here, clearing out this issue. Once I feel the restriction goes away, then I start to add the side bend. So hips up, ribs up, then reach. Come back down. And that is our Shinbox series.